Alright, here we got my 05 Ram 3500, and project today is going to knock out some head studs. I've already got a start on it. Here's what's left. You can see these are the bolts that have been taken out, and the oily ones right here, they're the ones that are closest to the intake, and obviously these other stock bolts with the anti-seize on them are the ones that are farther away from the intake side. These are all the pre-assembled. I've got the ARP Ultra Torque lube on the top side of the washers and the bottom side of the nut, and there's the rocker cover, and there's all the rockers. Everything's marked so it can go right back in. So let's get to it. We're on number, let's see, what is it? We got number 10. So you can see as I'm going off for the diagram in order, I just put a little mark through the ones that I've done, and using the Glacier Diesel power instructions for ARP Headstuds. Going through YouTube videos and whatnot, there's a bunch of different options. I decided this is the one I'm going to follow, and you can get them online, print off the PDF very easily. So now we're going to move on to number 8, and using an 18mm wrench, we're going to go ahead and get the old bolt out. Takes a little bit, and then once it breaks free, she just slides right out. There you go. Grab the new stud. Just checking on the Ultra Torque lube, make sure all that's on there. Another thing that I noticed, if you notice, you have all this oil right around, so clean that off, and then with some degreaser, some acetone type, go ahead and just put a little bit on a rag, clean those mounting surfaces there, and then you're only putting the Ultra Torque lube between the nut and the 12-point nut that goes on the stud right here, and the washer. So the bottom side, you're not wanting to lube that at all, which is why you're cleaning the face of the head so that that nut will set right down there, and you can get the Ultra Torque between the washer and the nut with some on the threads. And then using this little guy, we can kind of try to speed the process up a little bit. You don't want to drive it in real hard, because you're going to have to back these off about a half a turn. It just saves you a lot of turning by hand. And then that felt like it bottomed out, so now I'm just going to go back, make sure it is in there hand tight, get it to bottom out, and then you want to back it off. There you go, there's bottom. Now I want to come off, just about a half a turn. So right there, about a half a turn. Walk the nut down. And then I'm gonna clean the top of the stud real quick. And then you can notice on some of those other ones in the back, I'll show you in a minute. I'm just putting a little mark horizontally from left to right with a little bit of paint on top of the studs. And then I can, just like that, and that'll help me maintain my orientation so that the stud won't minimize the turning of the stud, and I can control that. Then to start this, so I can hold it, I'm using this, it's an all the way through 12-point wrench. Actually, I got it at Home Depot from Husky. I'm gonna get it started, then I can hold that stud, make sure it's not spinning on me as I snug these down. And then you'll notice the orientation of that stud is still where I wanted it. And then with my torque wrench, and we've got it set to right there, 100 foot-pounds. And we're just gonna go ahead and torque these initial torque to 100 foot-pounds. There you go. And you'll notice that the stud might have twisted just a touch, but it didn't turn enough to do anything since I already backed it out a half a turn off of bottom. You just want to remember, be real careful of your injectors. You don't want to damage those. Be real careful when you're working around those. And then that takes care of number 10. So now we'll be on to number 11, and we'll continue the process. And I'll update you when we get closer to being done. And then we're gonna have to reinstall all our rockers and then check our valve flash. Okay, so here we are, we're doing bolt number 13. And I wanted to show you on the intake side what I was talking about earlier. See, this bolt is just covered with oil. All right, so what we want to do is make sure we get the oil out of that housing down in there. So different guys use different things. I've got this little it's a suction hose, but actually it's a old fluid bottle. All right, Harbor Freight, connected to an airline, and we're just gonna go ahead and try to clean that hole out as best we can. Make sure there's not any, remove any residual oil and whatnot. And you can kind of feel it when you start getting it down in there. You can feel that line actually hit the bottom of that hole. That's it for that one. Now we just gotta clean the oil off the top of that, just like we were doing earlier. Got a little cleaner on that rag there, acetone, little degreaser. Clean that hole up real good so you get your nice mounting surface with your washer there. We'll grab a short stud, keeping in mind all your long ones that go on the exhaust side. And we'll run that right down in there like that. Kind of get it started. And again, the key is the pre-assemble those with the studs on them. That way you're not studs and a washer, so you're not dealing with little parts over the top of your head. You can see the ARP torque lube down there on the washer, top of the washer, and the bottom of the nut. There we go, she bottomed out. And I will just make sure. Alright, so I back it off a little bit. There's hand tight. And then give it a half a turn. Snug it down. Clean the top of that off. And again, just like we did earlier, mark the orientation, left to right. And then using my thru wrench, I can slip my Allen wrench in there, hold that stud, and then with that 12-point wrench, I can go ahead and snug it down. Get it ready to torque to 100 foot-pounds. There we go. Bolt number 13.